By now, we've all heard the news that Trump, according to the Wall Street Journal, is in fact in the Epstein Files not once, but multiple times. And reportedly, Trump and the White House were made aware of this at least a couple of months ago, which is around the time when all of this Epstein drama really kicked up. And by drama, of course, I mean specifically the White House's refusal to release the Epstein files that they promised to release. But a lot has happened over the past few days. We have been bombarded with so many Trumpisms in his own direct effort to distract his base away from the Epstein files. He went so far as to accuse Obama of treason, which honestly is doing way too much. And he even brought back up Hillary's emails. He's insulting his own base, which he does all the time. But now he's actually telling them that they're stupid and not loyal enough to him, which is making some pundits reassert their faith in him and their loyalty to him. But still, some are assuring the president that they still support him, but they still want the files. Charlie Kirk says he wants the files to be released because he wants to help Trump. I guess he wants to help Trump clear his name once and for all, showing everyone, including all of us haters on the left, that Trump is nowhere in these files and that he has nothing to do with them. And people like Charlie Kirk never really took the hint that Trump's feeble attempts to distract his own base away from the files entirely, to shut the whole conversation down, was all but his own admission that he knew he was in the files.
The top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which of course oversees the FBI and the Department of Justice, now says that the Bureau agents were instructed to flag to DOJ about any Epstein records that mention Donald Trump. Get this is a new letter out today to Attorney General Pam Bondi from Ranking Member Dick Durbin, who writes this, quote, "According to information my office received, you pressured the FBI to put approximately 1,000 personnel in its information management division on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records," adding, quote, "My office was told these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned." What?
And what's interesting about all of this is that, according to the reports, Trump had at least a hunch that his name would be in the files, which is why he had the FBI working 24 hours a day, combing through the files, flagging every mention of his name. And then, according to reports, Trump knew for sure that his name was mentioned months ago, which is when he actively tried to shut the whole thing down, the whole movement around the files and the movement that he started in the first place. Trump had to have known that there was a significant possibility that his name would be mentioned somewhere in the files. He's hung out with Epstein for years. Both of those men have confirmed that in various interviews throughout the years. There are pictures of the two of them together. More have just been released, actually. He allegedly gave Epstein a birthday card with a drawing on it. Trump denied that the card was from him because he never wrote a picture, which is a fun thing that we now get to keep hearing. But again, why does he lie about things that are so easily disproven? It's not like he just doodled in notebooks before, which one could plausibly argue doesn't actually count as drawing per se. But no, he sold his drawings at auctions. It was a whole thing. Anyway, even with his well-documented friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, he still let his base believe that he would release the files. It became a campaign promise for him. Why'd he do that? I guess he thought that he would just deal with it whenever it came up, but then whenever that time did come, his old tricks he found did not work. His new tricks are not working. He said that Obama was sedacious, which isn't even a word. But MAGA believed that Trump actually cared about things like transparency and decency. I'm really not sure why. So they believed that he would follow through. Their belief in Trump and what he stands for has now been shattered. So what we're witnessing is a chunk of our nation grappling with their idol falling. I guess it never occurred to them that Trump would be in the files himself. Again, I'm really not sure why. But belief is a strong, impenetrable armor. That's why things like faith and loyalty are such cherished virtues of religious groups and the political right. They stop you from asking questions and they don't allow you to hear things beyond a very narrow belief structure. But speaking of Obama and his sedacious ways, most people seem to recognize that Trump is making up something that he hopes will steal headlines away from his own Epstein connection. People see that it's yet another attempt at distraction. People see also that there's really no evidence to support his claim. And he had Tulsi Gabbard trot out evidence, so-called evidence, that she could barely even speak to. The whole timeline is a mess. It's information that has already been confirmed by a Republican-led Senate. It's just dumb. By the way, it was not that long ago when Trump was publicly discrediting Gabbard, his own DNI appointee, telling the press that he didn't care what she said. So now people are wondering if she's attempting to get back into his good graces by being the face of whatever this whole thing is. He also said that she's the hottest woman in his administration. I don't know, he's just all over the place. As of me recording this, Congress has been sent on its August recess, a 6-week break that started yesterday, though it was supposed to start today. On Monday, Speaker Johnson assured the press that Congress would work through Thursday, but the very next day, members had been informed that they would be going home a day early to avoid a vote on the Epstein Files. They seem to be hoping that this will all go away by the time Congress reconvenes in the fall, but I wouldn't count on it if I were them. But I want to end on a positive note, though maybe a fickle one, maybe one that doesn't mean a whole lot in the long run. Maybe it doesn't change anything right now, but recent polling shows that Trump is losing support fast. These poll results came out on Sunday, so before this insane week and before all of the insane revelations that came with it. Even in the realm of immigration, which is Trump's strongest campaign point, 55% of Americans disapprove of the job that ICE is doing. 52% said that Trump is deporting way more people than they expected he would. 53% of people do not want ICE's budget to increase. 60% oppose the use of the National Guard to intervene against protesters opposed to the deportation policy. Meanwhile, the administration is trying to convince people that the majority of Americans, including the majority of Democrats, support Trump's immigration/deportation policies. Not sure where those numbers came from. Worse still, a new poll from YouGov and The Economist shows that despite giving Trump an election time boost, Gen Z is quickly falling out of love with him. They got seduced by the podcast bro tour that he went on prior to the election, but as of Monday, his approval rating with Gen Z is at just 28%, a 62-point drop from its peak just before the election. Here's this from the Daily Beast. The president favorability among the age group peaked at plus 19 on November 16th. It started to drop even before the inauguration and sat at a modest plus 12 on January 25th. By February 6th, just 2 weeks into his term, it had dropped to negative 19. As a separate YouGov CBS News poll found this week, voters, especially those 18 to 29, are unhappy with Trump and his administration on nearly every major issue. A whopping 66% of Gen Z respondents said they thought he was too tough on immigration, while 71% said they disapproved of his handling of the economy. Another major issue damaging Trump's ratings is the scandal surrounding Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein tapes. According to a July 18th YouGov poll, 41% of Gen Z respondents believe Trump likely knew a lot about Epstein's crimes before his 2019 arrest, while 42% said they believed Trump and Epstein were close friends. And I'll leave it there because you already know that more is just waiting to come out, so that is it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.